Hi, good evening. Yesterday I've already taped, but I didn't post. So I might as well post it all together today because no excuse, no because. It's just that I didn't post, which I should do, okay? So I wouldn't find excuse and give you the excuse why I didn't post. And let's continue with the book. Today I'm on chapter 16. If I miss any chapter, just prompt me, then I read again to you. Okay, this book is called Choose the Life You Want, The Mindful Way to Happiness by Tal Ben-Shahar, PhD. So you can buy the book, go and Google. I don't know where you are buying the book from, but you go and Google. I used to, if you are in Malaysia, you can go to Popular. It cost me $29.90, but I guess it was many years ago. It could be cheaper, it could be more expensive. I don't really know. So go and find out, yeah? Nice book. Easy to read, easy to understand. So let's move on to chapter 16. It's going to read Shower of Blessing. Okay, overlook change opportunities. Overlook chance opportunities or create your own luck. Quote from Robert M. Persich. The truth knocks on the door when you say, go away. I'm looking for the truth, and so it goes away. Opportunities so often knock on our door in the form of a coincidence, a chance encounter, an unexpected gift, a surprise, and we don't pay attention to them. We dismiss them and go on with our life as if nothing important happened. And indeed, if this is what we choose to believe, then nothing of significance had happened or will happen. We owe it to ourselves to seize those opportunities and make the most of what comes our way. Whether or not we believe in divine providence, whether or not we believe that apparently random experiences contain meaningful lessons that are directly relevant to our life, there is much to be gained from paying attention to chance occurrence, to what psychologists call synchronicity. The story. Clearly, there are aspects of life of which we have no control, but the extent to which we do have the capacity to create our own luck is substantial. Richard Wiseman of the University of Hertfordshire studied lucky people, both those who considered themselves lucky and those whom others considered lucky. In his research, he found that there were actual characteristic, behavioral and thought patterns that distinguish the lucky from the unlucky. On the ways that people who are considered lucky actually create their luck is by noticing and capitalizing on chance encounters. Where most people see a meaningless coincidence, lucky people see a meaningful opportunity. Lucky people don't wait for luck to come their way. They actually create it by changing their usual routines. The newspaper they read, the route they take to work, the activities they attend, the people they choose to approach. These changes increase the likelihood that they'll encounter meaningful opportunities. Another characteristic of lucky people is that they tend to focus on the full part of the glass. If, for example, they are robbed, they express gratitude for not being physically hurt. If they underperform on a task, they tend to think about what they have learned from the experience and how they can grow in this way. In this way, through their interpretation of an event, they transform something that others would consider a negative, being robbed, underperforming, into a positive, not being hurt, an opportunity to learn. This interpretation about something that happened in the past affect what will happen in the future. Beliefs often act as self-fulfilling prophecies, and those who believe that they are lucky are much more likely to be so in real life. Start to create your own luck by changing your routine, by doing things differently, and by noticing how lucky you already are. Chapter 17. Engage in negative self-talk or remind yourself of your true self. Quote from Martin Seligman, habits of thinking need not be forever. One of the most significant findings on psychology in the last 20 years is that individuals can choose the way they think. Yeah, it actually eats into you. If you think of it negatively, you tend to draw negative people also. So nowadays, if people misread my message and take it on the negative side, I do not want to get myself entangled and explain further, because no matter how positive you are, if they are having a negative concept, it will only make things worse. So let it be and let it flow over, and things will be better. And I don't get myself entangled into not being happy. So let bygones be bygones, okay? Inside our head, we have continuous stream of thoughts, many of which contain negative messages that harm us. And because we have been living with these messages for so long, we confuse them with reality and act as if they were true. For example, many people believe that they do not deserve to be happy or to be loved or to succeed. Other people believe they cannot learn math or master certain skill. More often than not, these negative messages are baseless and irrational. We listen to them and accept them unthinkingly as true simply because we have heard them inside our mind for so long. You have hypnosis. You've been hypnotizing yourself. So most of the time, if you really calm down and look at things as it is, you know that many of the things that you believe to be negative is actually self-created. You can still change a lot of those things. Yeah. So where am I? Step up and raise your rational voice to contest them one by one. Take back control over the messages that you listen to and live by. A lot of people will fight with you because they like to see you fail. Not intentionally, but I guess it's human nature. So don't give them that pleasure. Your happiness belongs to you. Your success belongs to you. Just do it the way you think is right within the law, and do it with passion. You'll reach your goal. If you have any issues about reaching it, you might want to consider a coaching session. You can contact me, or you can contact any coaches that you feel comfortable with. There is no reason you must select any individuals because of a need. It's just that you have to select somebody who really can talk to you, but most coaches can. So good luck. The story is Professor Jeffrey Schwartz and his colleagues at UCLA have created an intervention program that can help people banish negative messages from their mind. Through the program, people realize that many of the messages they have internalized and accepted unthinkingly at face value were actually implanted in their mind by others, for instance by significant adults or the media. Once they are stable to recognize these messages for what they are, internalization of the subjective ideas of others rather than their own true belief about themselves, they can begin to free themselves from the oppressive and harmful consequences of these negative messages. Schwartz gives the example of Sarah, who internalized the message that in order to be loved and accepted, she had to be a perfect as well as put everyone else needs before her own. While this message was clearly distorted and false, for Sarah it was reality. It leads Sarah to obsess over each word and gesture that her friends and colleagues made. Isn't it very painful to be in this position, that you have to hang on the words of other people to make yourself happy? I hope you see it. If you notice it, please wake up and find a way to rescue yourself from this situation. Nothing is impossible. once you start to take the first step, you are going to just keep moving, okay? And as it was a standard that neither she nor anyone else could possibly live up to, she perceived herself as a loser, feeling depressed and worthless. She became physically and psychologically ill. She lost all motivation to go out and meet people, to exercise, to be part of the world. Isn't it sad? It's something you can really do. Don't let this type of thing happen to you, okay? It was only after she recognized that this image of herself that she had was not true. That was a deceptive brain message that Sarah got her life back. Her recovery did not happen overnight. It took a great deal of work to change the habits of thought that have been cultivated over so many years. But once Sarah identified the negative thoughts for what they really are, they lost their power over her. We may not always have a choice about whether we get to hear these negative internal messages. We may, for instance, simply be too young to resist, but we do have a choice about what to do with them now. Do you choose to surrender to these oppressive messages and live your life in accordance with their dictates? Or do you choose to reject them and live a life that is true to your real self? Chapter 18. Overlook the good in others. I'm sorry, today I seem to be off track a bit because maybe I'm not wearing my spectacles. I'm trying to look pretty. Not trying. I took past tense, right? I took away the word try. So want to look pretty, so I didn't wear my specs. Overlook the good in others or comment and compliment. I can live for 2 months on a good compliment. Quote by Mark Twain. Compliments are not just throwaway phrases that are pleasant to receive. If we fail to appreciate the positive in other people, the positive will depreciate and we'll have less of it. Each time I go out of my way to comment and compliment my partner, my child, my employee, or myself, I am strengthening and empowering both those I am complimenting and my relationship with them. Just as depositing money in a saving account when things are going well helps to weather financial difficulties, offering positive feedback on a regular basis help a relationship weather hard times. It costs us nothing to dispense smiles and warm words at home or in the workplace, and the benefit that we get in the ultimate currency of happiness is priceless. Oh, currency of happiness. The story in their children's book, Have You Filled a Bucket Today? Carol McLeod and David Messing describe a world in which each of us metaphorically carries around an invisible bucket. The purpose of the bucket is to hold our positive thoughts and feelings about ourselves. We feel good when our bucket is full and we are unhappy when it is empty. When we make others feel good by complimenting, be kind, or simply by smiling, we help them fill up their bucket. When we make them feel bad by putting them down, by ridiculing them, by hurting them in some way, we drain their bucket of the positive emotion that is contained. The beauty of good deed and a kind word is that by helping others fill their bucket, we simultaneously fill our own. To give is to receive. To give is to receive. This parable, though for children, is an important reminder for us all. You can begin to look at yourself in your role as a lawyer, teacher, banker, pharmacist, friend, partner, or parent as a bucket filler. By your being a bucket filler, your life and the life of those around you will instantly become so much better. Chapter 19. Go through life as a fault finder or be a benefit finder. Make a game of finding something positive in every situation. 95% of your emotions are determined by how you interpret events to yourself. Quote by Brian Tracy. According to the Henry David Thoreau, the fault finder will find faults even in paradise. Yeah. Cantonese, we like to say, hai kai tan ya bin, what, thiêu quất thầu, something like that. That means inside an egg, you're trying to find a bones. Okay. The fault finder is constantly on the lookout for problems and flaws in people and situations. Seeking faults, he finds them, of course, even in the paradise. The alternative approach to life is captured by the benefit finder, who finds the silver lining in the dark cloud, who make lemonade out of lemons, who look at the bright side of the life, and who does not fault writers who are using too many cliches. We can look for good in every situation and in every person, and in most cases, not all, but most, we will find the good. How we choose to approach life, whether a benefit finder or a fault finder, significantly impacts our physical and mental health, our experience of the world, and the experiences of those around us. The story. I want to share with you a few personal stories. I have attention deficit disorder. My mind wanders constantly. I find it difficult to focus for any length of time on one activity. Sound very much like me, okay? At times, my act makes learning and my working incredibly difficult. Since the age of 11, I dreamt of being a professional squash player. When I was 20, as I was getting ready to embark on a professional career in my sport of choice, I was injured. The injury was devastating. Emotionally, it shattered my dream. I was kicked out of the PhD program at Cambridge University in England, the only student in my year and one of the few ever to be expelled. All in all, it was humiliating experience and a wasted year professionally and academically. I am so unlucky. Now, let me tell you the same facts seen a little bit differently. I have attention deficit disorder. It's actually a good thing because it forces me to focus on those activities that I actually love, because only something I am passionate about can capture my attention. It is a blessing and an internal mechanism that forces me to do things that makes me happy. Since the age of 11, I dreamed of being a professional squash player. When I was 20, just as I was getting ready to pursue my dream, I was injured. The injury ended my professional aspiration. As a result, I decided to apply to the university and discover psychology, which has been my passion ever since. I was kicked out of PhD program at Cambridge University, the only student in my year and one of the few ever to be expelled. This experience turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Preparing for my future work as a consultant, I was at the time arrogant and full of myself, a likely prescription for failure. Being kicked out of the program humbled me, and I ended up spending some of the best years of my life living and working in Asia. I am so lucky. Same event, different interpretation. First as a fault finder and then as a benefit finder. Which one would you like to do? Think about it. Now, it's not the having at or giving up a dream or being thrown out of a program is easy and fun. However, looking at events through the lens of benefit finder can help us perceive and experience the world in a different, often better way. Describe a few events in your life, first by focusing on the negative and then by highlighting the upside of these same experiences. Can you live your life as a benefit finder? Chapter 20. Rush to give advice. This is totally me. So I got to do or listen with empathy and openness. That is the reason I choose coaching, because I have to comply and be a good coach. So in order to achieve one, I have to learn how to listen, because I need to listen, and not listen because I need to answer. Nobody really needs my answer. I just need to be their sounding board. So thank you. Thank you, Captain Shan. Thank you, all the coaches, for giving me the opportunity to be a coach. It is the province of knowledge to speak, and it is the privilege of wisdom to listen. Quote from Olivia Wendell Holmes. The key to providing emotional and moral support to people in need is the ability to listen what they are saying. When others need our help, our instinct is to rush in and provide comfort and practical advice. But no matter how valuable the knowledge that we wish to share, no matter how well-intentioned our desire to help, our first obligation is to provide the space and the opportunity for others to share experience, feelings, and thoughts. We need to curb our inclination to think about our response while others are speaking, jump to complete their sentences, or interject with our advice, even if it's the best advice possible. Still learning this part, yeah. So those coachee, if I am this, please kick me off. Learning from the experience and advice of others is extremely important. It is one of the principal ways in which we grow as an individual, but it usually works only if those receiving the advice feel that they have been heard. The story. Perhaps the most common characteristic associated with great leadership is charisma, the ability to excite others by delivering rousing speeches or conveying inspiring messages. It turns out, though, that charisma is overrated, and that a more important characteristic of great leaders is their ability to listen. In the early 1970s, Robert Greenleaf coined the term servant leadership after noticing that great leaders throughout history spoke and acted as servants. Biblical leaders such as Moses and Jesus are depicted as servants, as were more recent political leaders such as Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King. After spending 27 years in prison, Nelson Mandela's words to the people of South Africa were, "I am your servant." Great business leaders such as Jim Burke of Johnson & Johnson and Anita Roderick of Body Shop believed that their primary responsibility as a CEO was to serve and be attentive to the needs of their employees and customers. According to the Greenleaf and other leadership scholars, one of the core characteristics of servant leaders is that they listen first and talk later. In fact, to become a servant leader, Greenleaf argued a person has to go through a long arduous discipline of learning to listen, as a discipline sufficiently sustained that the automatic response to any problem is to listen first. We are all leaders, at least in some situation, and some of the time at home, at work, in our community center, when we are with friends or family or colleagues. When others share with us something important, they are looking up to us for help, for leadership. And if we want to be effective leaders and help them, we first need to learn how to listen. So I have to sleep on this one and speed up the process of listening. And until this chapter 20, there are many things that I can do. I'm not sure about you. I believe there is something for everyone in this book. So if you are interested, buy the book. It's a very easy read because each chapter is very short. So now I'm reading, total he got about until 94. So I have finished just half the book. So let's tackle tomorrow with, let's see, I can read faster. Tomorrow I'll let you know. Okay,
Till then, take care. Bye bye.